Hello y'all, this is the Hearts of Iron 4 mod Unification Wars, also known as Unification Wars Beta. It is set in the Warhammer 40k universe on Earth, or Terra. During the age, the Emperor of Mankind was trying to unite the planet. Here is the select country screen, and all of the nations here exist within the 40k lore, though some are more obscure than others. But anyway, the polities here are the Imperium, the Achaemenid Empire, Ursh, the Pan-Pacific Empire, and America. This modification takes place in the 30th millennium, so sometime around 29,790-70 is when it begins, and by this time the world is polluted and scarred, and the era of strife has taken place and such, and there are techno-barbarian warlords everywhere. And this mod features stuff that is accurate to the lore as much as it can be, but there's also original stuff, since this period of Warhammer 40k is somewhat shrouded in mystery as of this time, and honestly, from a narrative sense, it mainly is the first appearance of the Emperor in the form of the Master of the Lines, was his first big appearance in trying to unite humanity, I suppose, at least starting on Terra. And it's where a lot of the tactics of the later Space Marines, though in this period they're known as Thunder Warriors, they would originate. And let's go to the political tab now. Here we have a few different ideologies, although for the Imperium, the only one that matters is Imperial. Then we have Autocratic, there is Argliarchic, there's Tribalistic, there is Cenotic, and Ruinous. Okay, and then laws and government and research and production and military staff seems normal. And the Imperium does have a unique focus tree in this mod, and I believe they get pretty overpowered by the end because, frankly, the Emperor of Mankind, this is his little world conquest effectively. He has the plot armor in spades, and he is frankly overpowered because his destiny in the story is to unite humanity on Terra and defeat all of the other warlords. Now, going to decisions, we have political decisions, resource prospecting, economic policy, and equipment decisions. That's new, I believe. I hope all countries have this. I don't know. Let's go to the research tab now. And going over to the left, starting in infantry, it is a little rework. So we have training, weapons, melee weapons and ranged weapons, armor, heavy weapons, power armor is a thing. We got artillery, anti-air, and anti-tank. Then we have support equipment, trains, because the supply system in HOI4 requires trains. We have chimeras and predators. This is tank technology. We have stuff like bane blades and malcadors that can be researched. Here's just a vehicles folder. This is cavalry, armored cars, and reconnaissance vehicles, it looks like. Then there is air. We can get gun cutters, Aquillas, brawler T8s. Then what else? We have Vulture, Valkyries, Vendettas, and a bunch of other stuff. But there is quite a few air research you can do. We have engineering. Then there is industry, special research. Okay, then I guess this is mainly for unique technologies countries can get within the mod. So I suppose for the Imperium they can probably get dreadnoughts and things like that, and some kind of other tech, I would think. And this mod does feature unique unit models. Well, at least for the Imperium, we have these Imperial Guard looking guys, the Astra Militarum, and they have, let's see here, here is the generic Techno-Barbarian look, but the Imperium uses this model, which is nice. I believe the Thunder Warriors have their own as well, I'm not sure though, and the Imperial Riders one is just a generic one, but you can get an idea they used the Techno-Barbarian one even for the Imperium. And let's start looking at all of the nations or warlord states in the world, and I will state which one of these are part of the lore and which ones are original, because there is a lot of original ones, but I believe the developers of this mod have tried to put every one that appears in the lore here, And this is, for example, the world's really messed up in Unification Wars in terms of just sheer damage, and a lot of places are just kind of in approximate locations. So for example, the Imperium is effectively in the Himalayas from our standpoint, but let's see the factions of the world now. And there's only really one, and that is, well, there's a couple actually. There's the Wardens of the Amazon, and that is simply High Brazil here. Then we have the Indonesia bloc. Is that right? Yes, the Indonesia bloc, and that is led by Indonesia. Then it also consists of Dhaka Utu, Borneo, Bayatara, and Angkor Kamarat, it looks like. Yes, and let's start going over all the countries in the world. We're going to probably go, let's go from, say, east to west. Maybe. We'll go from west to east. So we'll start with the Imperium. We have the Imperium, of course, Master of the Lines. It's the Emperor of Mankind. Then we got the Dragon Kingdom. There's a lot of warlords that are just kind of in the... They're kind of made up their original. There's the Katani, the Psychic Kingdom, the Dogani, the Comic State, the Solari. A lot of these places are just kind of easy fodder for the Imperium to devour early on, I guess. There's the Zarek tribes. We have Batara, who's part of the Indonesia bloc. The Zayak Khaganate, they're like Mongolia, but they're not. We have Indonesia. The Indonesia bloc does exist in the lore that is part of the world of Warhammer 40k. That's not original. Angkor, but all these original... There's all these members of the Indonesia bloc are kind of original. There's Angkor, Kamarat. This is kind of like in Southeast Asia, approximately. There's Borneo. We have the Pan-Pacific Empire. They're from the lore. They're pretty massive, and they control parts of what could be seen as China and Siberia, and I guess what's left of Japan. The oceans really took a beating by the 30th millennium in 40k on Terra. There's Oceania, and it's kind of like it's like Australia, judging by their flag. They're led by the Road Warriors, so I guess they got a Mad Max thing going on. And I have no clue what this area is. It's kind of like in South America and pieces of the Pacific, all these small warlord states here. And I think practically all of these are original. But we have the Hollowed Walkers, the Deadlanders who are fighting the Dune Riders. Some of these may be references to something. There's the Hilt Front, the Cormans Warband, the Blazing Children, the Ark Tribes, the Polynesia Foal, Tagar Foman, the Artopian Rulership, Scytharzia. I may miss some of these. The Blazing Children, Dune Riders, the Dreadwolves, they're fighting some wars. Tatek. We have Whelps of the Waste, Oxum, High Masha, Xersit's tribes, Oriak. And Oriak is supposed to be like in Antarctica in Unification. Well, in the Unification Wars in the lore, they are actually in the lore. There's Free Oriak. We have the Scion's Rebirth, the Trade Guilds Alliance, the Dome, the ISIC Research Group. We have Sudamerica, which is the remnants of South America, I guess, going north now. We have Hybe Nuru, Etrusian's Combine, Mars Solus Ortu, Pact of Air, Khan Namak Ortu, Dark Scar Ortu. What are these Ortus? Like Hordes or Hurst Ortu? Arthesian, Amtasian Syndicate. There's the Gundarian Coalition. They're fighting the Armarthine Court. We have Otaraya, and we have the Greater Mirage. There's America. It's basically what's left of the USA. Kind of. I think I'd reckon the flag is kind of has themes of the USA's flag, but it just, I don't know. I don't know if it has anything in common in terms of governmental structure. There's Atlan, they're a subject of America. We have Bolivia here. There is Furious Caribbean, and they are just in this area. We got Pan-Percro, High Brazil, South America, good. We're going to get into a bunch of giant states now. Old Albia, Empire of Albion. This is more like Europe. At this point, Albion does exist in the lore. There's the Malan Sin Confederacy. They lead a faction called the Dark Brotherhood, and in it is them and Scandia, which does appear in the lore of Unification Wars in 40k. We have Germany, also in the lore. Frank, also in the lore. Occitania, Iberia. You can see the remnants of Europe here, well, of the different ethnicities and cultures of Europe. There's Baltic, Polskar, Moran, the Magyar Empire. I see the Hungarians are doing well in the 30th century. They're even being ruled by Habsburg, so I don't know what level. I believe that's something like 300th Habsburg of their name. Just looking at the Roman numerals, I could be wrong there. We have the Western clans. They have their puppet of iron, Justicarium. We have Bulgaria. Where's this at? Vaguely, I guess in like the Black Sea. Galkaria, Kamil, Odessa. Maybe no, it's maybe Ukraine. Black Sworn, Volgograd, Thegas, the Ethnarchy. I think they appeared in the lore. There's Boeotia. They appeared in the lore. So did Europa. This is kind of, I guess, in parts of the Mediterranean. I can vaguely see something like Rome here, yeah. And Boeotia is maybe in what's left of Greece, part of it. And we have the Achaemenid Empire, and they share the same name as the ancient Persian Empire, effectively. They have a ton of subjects. We have Egyptus. It's like Egypt. We have the North Africa conclaves, the Mid-Africa oligarchy, the Banda Confederacy. They're fighting the Adeji down south. I don't know where they are. Oh, they're up here. That's like in Ethiopia, maybe. There's Madagascar, South Africa, Somali, Quatabana. Quatabana's a satrapy of the Achaemenid Empire. Mecca, Unaran also is. There's Ubal, satrapy of the Achaemenids. Rahura, the Telman Protectorate. They are a suzerainty of the Achaemenid Empire, so I guess they have more autonomy, or no, they're more integrated. There's Macha, they're a satrapy of the Achaemenid Empire. There's Gujarat, there is Kahamana, there's Ursh, that appears in the lore of 40k. There's the Tarawat clans also in the lore. We have Cossack, and we're somewhere in, say, Eastern Europe still, or parts of Russia. There's the Arankhal Defense Committee, and then there is Alphas, Kurisa, the Pact of Fire. Is this like Azerbaijan? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, going on. We're getting more into like India and the Himalayas and what's left of China in this world, or what the landmass, what you could call China, their former territories. There's the Saragorn Enclave, the Kashin clans, the Wencaller Mountain, the Children of Kant. There is Marawa. It's led by the Tiger King. That's kind of like India, I guess, and it's named after an ancient Indian state. There's Ceylon. This is Sri Lanka or Ceylon. We have Kamarupa, Bharataya, Pallas, the Sakya Kingdom, the Therugian Pact, the Eagleborn, the Tarskani, and Dhaka Urtu. Yes. And we have the Imperium. So I may have missed some of the states here, like Urartu. I didn't see them. Caucasus Waste, they're here, and they're a puppet of the Ethnarchy. Yeah, Urartu does appear in the lore, and they're named after like a Bronze Age civilization. That's what they're a reference to, perhaps. And I hope I didn't miss too many of the countries here. There are a lot in this effectively post-apocalyptic setting of Warhammer 40k before the main world, well, the main story of Warhammer 40k takes place. And since this takes place during the Unification War setting, there's no Great Crusade yet, there's no Horus Heresy, there's no other real threats besides humanity kind of fighting itself, I suppose, because the Emperor hasn't united everything into the Imperium and mankind and all of the issues that may come with that. And with that, this has been the Unification Wars mod for HOI4. You can check it out in the video description. The link to it is there. Well, what do you think of it? Tell me in the comments section below. And after you do that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.